My name is Jose Aurelio Gabriel González Hermosillo Brooks. My family has been producing tequila since 1776. Now, our quest in Casa has been to produce the best tequila we can produce. So for us, that means to take care of every single detail in the production of tequila. And this starts with the agave. Casa is an old distillery which is located in the state of Jalisco. And here you can see the relationship of where Casa is. Jalisco is the state where 90% of the production of tequila is done. And not only the production of tequila, but the growing of the agave. So tequila is very interesting. Just like champagne and cognac, it has a denomination of origin, which means that tequila can only be produced in 5 states. The whole state of Jalisco and 4 other states, which are Tamaulipas, Michoacán, Nayarit, and Guanajuato. This denomination of origin also controls where the agave can be grown. And there's 2 main regions. One is Los Altos and the other one is Tequila. The differences are that in Los Altos, most of the terrain is flat, the dirt is very red, and the tequilas are going to be very fruity, and they're going to be a little flowery. The other region is the region of Tequila. In this area, the agave is grown in more hilly, more inclines, which will stress the plant more. This means that you'll get a plant which has more characteristics of spices and herbs, or more complex notes in the tequilas from this region. Now for Casa it's very important to have the best agave. And we have our own agave. We have about 6,500 acres of land and more than 1 million plants. And in the place where we have our agave, it's very special land, which is very rich, which will give a lot of characteristics to our agave. Most distilleries will use agave that's 6, 7, or 8 years old. In Casa we use agave that's 10, 12, and 14 years old. We wait until the full maturation, so we have the most characters and the best agave. All our agave is hand-picked, each one selected to produce the best tequila. After these agaves are picked, the jimador takes a tool that's called a coa and will take all the leaves of the agave and will actually take the agave out of the earth, and now without the leaves we call it a piña, pineapple, and it will probably weigh an average 120 pounds, but they'll grow up to 300 pounds. So the piñas then are taken into the distillery. The distillery, as you can see, is right outside the town of Tequila, underneath the volcano of Tequila. And it is actually an old hacienda from the 1700s, which has beautiful mango trees, citrus trees, and of course it's surrounded by more agave. We only produce 100% blue agave tequila for Casa There's a couple of ways of cooking the agave. One is in autoclaves, which some distilleries decide to do a fast way of cooking, which takes about 6 hours. But we decide to use hornos de mampostería, which are stone ovens, and it takes us about 38 hours of steam cooking these agaves to be able to finish the process of cooking and obtaining the fermentable sugars we need. After that, we will go into the extracting of the juices, and most distilleries will crush the agave. Instead, we decide to use a mill, and it's a much smoother system, which will give us much more character in our tequila. So these juices that are called mostos are put into these tanks for fermentation. And for Casa we only do a natural fermentation. This means it'll take us 3 to 5 days to ferment, but also means that everything that's around will influence our tequila. We'll have citrus notes because of the citrus trees, and we'll have just characteristics of our surroundings. All tequila has to be distilled at least twice. In our case, we do a triple distillation in pot stills, which means you're going to obtain a much purer tequila. Because we distill it very slowly, it takes us about 3 hours on each distillation. We obviously do it with a lot of patience. We are going to obtain a tequila that has a lot of character, has a lot of notes. This is how we actually get our Casa Cristal. We age our tequila in French white oak barrels. Aging in French white oak barrels will give you a lot of notes of vanilla, it will give you chocolate, it will give you butter, in addition to the characteristics of our tequila, which are the citrus, the sweet agave, and all the other wonderful notes that tequila has. So our Casa, which is handcrafted, we have won many accolades. Among them, we won double gold medal at the World Spirit Competition in San Francisco, which means all 26 judges gave it a perfect score. We've also won Best Tequila in Mexico by the Academia Mexicana de Tequila, and many others. But you'll notice that our Casa has a lot of cooked agave, sweet cooked agave flavor. It has citrus, it has herbs, it has spices. It's a very complex tequila. The next tequila is Casa Reposado. To be called a reposado, it has to be aged at least 2 months. In our case, we age it for 364 days, which is the maximum because at 365 days, it becomes an añejo. And also another difference is that Casa Reposado has won the gold medal at the World Spirit Competition in San Francisco, has won second best tequila in Mexico by la Academia Mexicana de Tequila. Finally, our añejo. Imagine this tequila that has taken us, 14 years to get into a bottle. Spent 12 years on the ground absorbing all these characteristics. It's been traditionally produced very carefully, and then we age it for 2 years. To be called an añejo has to be aged for at least 1 year. In our case, we're aging it for 2 years, and instead of using those old bourbon barrels, we're using French white oak barrels, which will give us beautiful characteristics. Again, those vanilla notes will be more accentuated. You'll have the chocolate, you'll have the coffee bean, it'll be much more oaky. But we want to respect the tequila, so you'll still have the agave, you'll still have the citrus, you'll still have the spiciness in our tequilas, which makes Casa Noble Añejo a very complex tequila.